Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real today. You can't keep blaming the world, your job, your parents, your ex, your friends, or your past for where you are right now. At some point, you gotta stop pointing fingers and look in the mirror. Yeah, that's right, the mirror. Because the person staring back at you, that's the one holding the keys to your next level. Stop blaming others. Take full responsibility. That's the first step. It's the moment you stop looking around and start looking within. See, it's easy to blame your parents for how they raised you, your boss for not seeing your value, your friends for betraying you, or your past for breaking you. But none of that changes anything. Blame is a delay tactic. It puts the power in someone else's hands. And as long as someone else has the power you can't move, people love to play the victim card because it feels safe. I didn't get the job because the system is unfair. I can't get ahead because nobody ever gave me a chance. I act like this because of what happened to me when I was a kid. Listen, we all got a story. We've all been hurt, let down, underestimated, overlooked, lied to, and broken. That's life. But if you want to win, if you want to grow, if you want peace, you have to stop pointing fingers and say, all right, that happened, but what am I going to do about it now? You cannot fix what you refuse to take responsibility for. If you keep saying it's everybody else's fault, then you're saying you have no control. And when you give away your control, you give away your future. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you caused everything that happened to you. No, some things were out of your hands. But it does mean it's now your job to decide what to do next. That part's all on you. Responsibility is where transformation starts. It's not a burden, it's a blessing. Because the moment you own your life, all of it, is the moment you take your power back. Suddenly, you're not waiting on someone to come apologize or waiting on perfect conditions or hoping for a lucky break. You become the one creating momentum. You become the one shaping your outcomes. It takes courage to say, I've been part of the problem. That's not weakness, that's strength. People who grow are people who can admit their own flaws, their own patterns, their own habits that keep leading them to the same place. And once you recognize those patterns, you can break them. You can do better, not because someone changed, but because you did. And you're going to notice something else too. When you stop blaming, your relationships get better, your decisions get sharper, your peace gets stronger because you're no longer at the mercy of other people's actions. You're in the driver's seat of your own life. That doesn't mean life won't throw stuff at you. It will. But now you're showing up with a different energy. You're not asking, why me? You're saying, watch me. Every time you choose blame, you choose to be stuck. But every time you take responsibility, you choose growth. Growth hurts. Responsibility hurts, but so does staying the same. So if it's going to hurt either way, choose the hurt that moves you forward. Own your story, own your part, own your healing. That's how the shift begins. That's where change becomes real. Nobody's coming to save you. Be your own rescue. That truth can hit hard, especially when you're in a low place, waiting for someone to pull you out. Maybe you're waiting on a friend to understand your pain, a mentor to give you a shot, or life itself to magically shift in your favor. But waiting is dangerous when it becomes a lifestyle. Because the longer you wait for someone else to fix what's broken, the more you delay your own breakthrough. There's a reason people stay stuck. It's comfortable to think someone else will come solve it. It's comforting to believe a relationship, a new job, some kind of outside change will suddenly turn everything around. But what if that help never comes? What if nobody knocks on your door with the opportunity of a lifetime? What if no one sees how much you're hurting? Then what? That's when you realize it's on you. You're the only one who's fully invested in your own future. You can have support, sure. You can have love and encouragement, but no one can do the work for you. No one can decide for you. No one can want it more than you. Nobody can force you to believe in yourself, to discipline yourself, to show up for yourself when it's cold, lonely, or uncertain. That's an inside job. Some people get stuck because they don't trust themselves. They've been so used to leaning on others, they forgot they were built with everything they needed to rise. You don't need to be rescued. You need to be activated. You need to wake up the fighter in you, the dreamer in you, the builder in you. You've got that in you, whether you see it yet or not. When you stop waiting for someone else to do it, you start doing it. You start learning what you need to learn. You start building what needs to be built. You start pushing through the fear, the doubt, the laziness, all of it, because you realize nobody else is responsible for your greatness, and nobody else is entitled to it either. You don't owe anybody your struggle, but you owe yourself your freedom. People who wait to be saved often end up bitter. They sit around and wonder why nobody helped them, why nobody saw their worth. But the truth is, it's not anyone else's job to recognize your value. It's yours. It's your job to walk like you're worth it, talk like you're worth it, work like you're worth it. You want a different life. You build it one day at a time, one choice at a time, one discipline at a time. Oh. The most powerful moment in your life is when you stop hoping for rescue and start choosing responsibility, not because it's fair, not because it's easy, but because your life is yours. Nobody's going to hand you peace, purpose, or success. You've got to claim it. You've got to chase it. You've got to create it. Rock bottom is a foundation, not a grave. It feels like the end, like everything has fallen apart and there's nowhere to go. You're surrounded by broken dreams, broken trust, maybe even a broken version of yourself. But here's what most people don't understand. Rock bottom isn't the end of your story. It's the place where your comeback begins. It's the point where everything false, weak, and unnecessary gets stripped away, and what's left is real. When you hit the bottom, the noise stops. The distractions fade. The masks fall off. You see clearly for the first time who you are, who's really with you, and what truly matters. That's a painful gift, but it's still a gift, because from that place, you finally stop pretending. You stop running. You stop blaming. You stop blaming. You stop avoiding the work. Rock bottom doesn't destroy you. It reveals you. A lot of people fear rock bottom because they associate it with failure. But failure isn't final unless you make it that way. In fact, some of the most successful, focused, and powerful people didn't find themselves on the mountaintop. They found themselves in the dirt. It was the breaking that built them. It was the pressure that refined them. It was the loss that gave them clarity. You don't get diamonds without pressure. You don't get strength without struggle. When you're at rock bottom, there's a strange kind of freedom. You've got nothing to lose. And when you've got nothing to lose, you become dangerous in the best way. You stop caring about opinions that don't matter. You stop living for approval. So you stop holding back your gifts, your voice, your truth. You dig deep and you find a version of you that's been buried under years of fear, doubt, and excuses. You start building from that place. And the good news, the foundation is solid now because you've been tested, you've been humbled, you've been emptied. So what you build next will have roots. It won't be fake. It won't be fragile. It won't be built on lies, people-pleasing, or shaky confidence. It'll be built on who you truly are, what you truly value, and what you've been called to do. That's what makes the rise so powerful. Not that you got back up, but that you became someone new when you did. Change starts with mindset, habits, and discipline. If you want different results, you have to think differently, act differently, and stay consistent even when you don't feel like it. Most people want change, but they don't want to change. They want the success without the sacrifice, the growth without the grind, the breakthrough without the process. But change doesn't happen by chance. It happens by intention, and it starts in your mind. Your mindset is the lens through which you see everything. If you think small, you live small. If you expect failure, find it. But if you start telling yourself that you're capable, worthy, and built for more, then everything around you starts to shift. That doesn't mean it gets easier. It means you get stronger. The mind controls the body, and if you can win the battle in your mind, you can win anywhere. Once your mindset shifts, your habits have to follow. You can't think like a winner and act like a quitter. You can't dream big and wake up late, procrastinate, and make excuses. Your habits are the proof of what you believe about yourself. If you believe you're made for greatness, your actions will reflect that. The way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you treat your time, it all starts aligning with that belief. Discipline is what turns habits into results. It's the part nobody sees, the hours you put in when nobody's watching. It's doing what you said you would do long after the mood you said it in is gone. Motivation is great, but it's temporary. Discipline is what builds character. It's the thing that keeps you moving forward on the days you feel tired, frustrated, or unsure. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits and your discipline. And if those aren't right, you'll keep cycling through the same problems in a different season, wondering why nothing's changing. Change isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. No, it's a commitment to think better, do better, and become better every single day. Accountability over perfection, that's where real growth begins. Too many people are chasing perfection, trying to look flawless, act flawless, live flawless, and they're exhausting themselves trying to keep up an image. But perfection is a lie. It's a moving target. No matter how much you do, say, or prove, there will always be something to criticize or fix. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to be real and responsible. Accountability means being honest with yourself. It means owning your choices, your patterns, and your role in where you are. It's not about beating yourself up. It's about stepping up. You can't fix what you're not willing to face. And if you keep pointing fingers at everybody else while ignoring your part in the problem, you stay stuck. The most powerful thing you can say sometimes is, that was me. I did that, and I can do better. See, perfection focuses on image. It's about how things look. But accountability focuses on growth. It's about how things actually are. It's about progress. You might not have it all together, but if you can say, I'm working on it, and actually mean it, that's more powerful than pretending you have it all figured out. People respect growth more than they respect perfection because growth is real. Perfection is performance. Accountability also builds trust, first with yourself, then with others. When you hold yourself accountable, you build self-respect. You stop lying to yourself about your habits, your effort, your intentions. And the more you do that, the more confident you become, and not because you're perfect, but because you know you're honest. You know you'll show up for yourself even when it's uncomfortable. This mindset changes the game. It shifts the focus from being flawless to being faithful to your purpose, your goals, your standards. You stop comparing, you stop competing, and you start checking yourself. You stop trying to impress and start trying to improve. Accountability is the daily choice to be better than you were yesterday, to admit when you fall, and to get back up with more clarity and commitment than before. Grow into the version of you that unlocks your next level. The life you're dreaming about, the peace you want, the success you're chasing, it all requires a version of you that you haven't fully become yet. You don't just walk into your next level by wishing for it. You grow into it. You grow into it. You become it. You build it from the inside out. And that growth is never comfortable. It requires you to leave behind the version of yourself that's no longer serving you. That means letting go of old habits, old excuses, and old environments. It means saying no to things that once felt good, but no longer fit the future you're creating. Sometimes the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the level of you that you keep holding on to. You can't take fear, doubt, and insecurity into the next season of your life and expect elevation. Growth requires shedding. The next level of you thinks different, speaks different, moves different. That version of you sets boundaries, honors commitments, shows up consistently, and stops waiting on permission to act. That version of you doesn't shrink when challenged or run when it gets tough. That version of you stops reacting emotionally to everything and starts responding with clarity and purpose. That version of you is focused, not scattered, driven, not distracted. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It's intentional. It's showing up even when you're tired. It's staying disciplined even when no one is watching. It's doing the small, boring, necessary things over and over until they turn into results. Most people don't grow because they only move when it feels good. But the next level version of you moves on purpose, not emotion. This version of you is going to cost you some comfort, some relationships, and a whole lot of ego. But it will gain you alignment, purpose, strength, and vision. You won't even recognize the old you once you step into it, because growth transforms you. Not just what you have, but who you are. And when you become that version of yourself, the doors that felt locked will start to open because you finally have the mindset, the maturity, and the momentum to walk through them.